Hey, it's Wixman Ray. A new day here. Today is what? March 11th, 2026. It's a Wednesday here. Hey, we got another Friday the 13th coming. I think we had one last month too. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I don't know if you believe in that stuff, but it's kind of weird that we've had two Friday the 13ths. Anyways, so looking at our weather today, the western half, most of the west is pretty quiet. We got a little bit of clouds butting up against the front range of the Rockies there. Looks like maybe south of Denver there. And then we got this next, the moisture streaming across the Pacific Northwest with some rain, valley rain, and mountain snow going on out in this area, up through northern Idaho and Washington and Oregon. And then we got this big system out in the eastern half of the country. We got ongoing thunderstorms across East Texas, parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, all the way up into the Ohio Valley. And then we got some thunderstorms kind of up here into Pennsylvania, maybe a little bit into New York. And then we got some snow on the backside here up in Wisconsin, Iowa. I think that's moving into a little bit, it's going into northern Illinois. And you can see the snow that they had. Looks like some of it's starting to melt or something here across Nebraska, parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, and Minnesota here. Um, yeah, so that's what we have there. It looks like maybe there's some fresh snow in Wyoming, but I'm not 100% certain on that. So, yeah, and so that's kind of what's going on in our satellite picture there. We've got our surface observations going on here. So across the Pacific Northwest, we got some rain going on up here in Seattle and Portland, and some mostly rain in the interior. There might be a little bit of snow out here. Let's check the observations. Yeah, up in northern Idaho, I think that's in the higher elevation though. So valley rain, mountain snow for the most part out there. Otherwise, the rest of the West quiet. In the 60s from LA to Vegas to Phoenix, and even into New Mexico at Albuquerque. That's all I'm going to say about the West. Colder up north. We had a cold front kind of drag through northern Utah and northern Nevada, so it's in the 30s and 40s this morning up here. And so on the backside of this system here, we got some really gusty winds, 30, 40, actually 40 to 50, even 60-mile-an-hour winds out in West Texas, really strong from basically, starting around Nebraska all the way through the central and southern plains there into West Texas there. It looks like a little bit of blowing dust from Lubbock down towards Midland, Texas. So, yeah, that's what's going on out there. Across East Texas, we got some ongoing thunderstorms way down south. What's that? Just north of Victoria. I think that's Victoria Regional Airport. Down there in Texas, all the way up into near Shreveport, some showers and thunderstorms. Up into near Little Rock, most of the activity south of them, though, maybe on the edge of them, but some showers and thunderstorms going on through there, and that kind of extends up into Tennessee. Then we got some stuff farther back into southeast, or yeah, southeast Missouri into southern Illinois, and then some thunderstorms going on across near Cincinnati and up through Ohio and into Pennsylvania. It looks like it's more rain up here. There might be a little clap of thunder here and there, but that's what's going on there. And even some moderate to heavy rain in some of these bands up here, but real warm up there in the Northeast for the most part. 60s, even 70s out there in Pennsylvania and New York. As you get farther north, there's a front. If my obs will update here. Hold on a sec here. Sorry about that. Had a little dog issue here I had to take care of. So, yeah, we have a cold front kind of dragging up through Maine here. So some 20s and 30s. Looks like probably some rain farther south and some snow or some mixture of stuff up in. I don't have a lot of observations up there, but It looks like some snow and maybe a mixed wintry mix up there into Maine. So, and then let's go back over here. We kind of didn't cover this yet. So we got some snow going on across Wisconsin. Looks like some heavier bands down through this area. A little bit of maybe light to moderate snow in Iowa, eastern, at least the eastern half. And then it's raining right now in Chicago, but this stuff might turn over to snow later today. On the back side of this system, might get some brief snow for a couple hours maybe at the most. So yeah, so that's what's going on the surface. Real warm here across the southeast. Looks like mostly 80s, 78 in Atlanta, so some upper 70s. Yeah, so that's where your nice weather is right now, but that will be changing over the next 24 hours. Let's just look at our storm reports. We had some severe thunderstorms, and that's going to kind of be the theme today too, for one more day. Where did they go? Here we go. Okay, well, we'll talk about this. So this is our day one outlook for today. So they've got a threat of thunderstorms, all from East Texas across all the way to Alabama. So this part of the South. A little bit of Arkansas up into Tennessee, Kentucky, and up into the Ohio Valley and into Pennsylvania and parts of the mid-Atlantic there. So definitely a threat, maybe even, touching southern, southwest part of New York there. So something to keep an eye on there. The tornado threat will be the highest, like say from Cincinnati over through parts of southern Pennsylvania into West Virginia, and even parts of that's Maryland there and clipping Kentucky there, and then down across the south here in this area from East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. That's a tornado threat down there. The wind threat, for damaging winds, looks like, I mean, anything's game on for that, but the highest threat will be in that area up here over the Ohio Valley up into near the mid-Atlantic, and then down here across the south here. And then the hail threat looks the greatest up in the mid-Atlantic area into the Ohio Valley. So yeah, so that'll be for today. So keep an eye on that. If you live in those parts, that's going to be your big threat. I think I had it loaded up. Okay, well, this is the snow report, so we'll cover this. Yeah, they had anywhere from 1 to maybe up to 6 inches across Minnesota and Wisconsin, mainly the northern part of Wisconsin. A little bit of snow back here in Nebraska, reported 1 to 3 inches, I think 1 to 2 around Omaha area. A little bit out in South Dakota, up to 6 inches there. In Spearfish, South Dakota, and then parts of Wyoming had some snow. A little bit of snow up in Colorado reported. So, yeah, that's where you had over. That's the last 24 hours. Let's do our storm reports here for. So this is looking at basically from midday today through early this morning. So they had some damaging wind reports across Indiana, Ohio, even one in Pennsylvania there in northwest Pennsylvania. Looks like a couple reports down into Arkansas. That was today. Yesterday was pretty active. We had some tornado reports across parts of Illinois, just south of Chicago, and then into northern Indiana. A lot of hail reports too, back into parts of Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Illinois, into Missouri. I know around Kansas City area, I saw 3 to 4 inch hail, some big hail around the metro area there. So looks like a lot of wind reports. That's the blues. Just so a reminder, the red is the tornado reports, blue is the damaging wind reports, and green is the hail. And that's kind of down here if you want to read through that. But I'm kind of helping you out there. These black ones are large hail reports. They can also be high wind reports too if they're square. So, but yeah, they even had a couple tornadoes out in West Texas, some hail up in Oklahoma. So yeah, pretty active out there yesterday. Had some tornado reports. So, and yeah, like I said, large hail, and I saw some pictures from some friends out there. 3-inch hail. It was about the size of their palm or something. So large hail and some tornadoes. So So let's look at, so I showed you the convective outlook for today. So today will be the last day. That may go through the overnight hours for a bit. But as we go into tomorrow morning, we'll have a, it looks like they've got us in a little bit of a, yeah, mostly just a general thunderstorm outlook for tomorrow across, yeah, the southeast up into the mid-Atlantic. And that'll mainly be in the morning. Florida, will go through the day, but this stuff will move out to sea, by midday afternoon. So looks like a little threat up in the north here too. We got another strong low pressure developing up here, but mainly impact these areas up here, that next system. But we'll take a look. So moving on to our forecast models. Models are in pretty good agreement through, I would say, through next Monday. Um, we'll go through Monday, maybe into Tuesday morning. So that's what is today, Wednesday? So that's, for about 5 days out, maybe 6 days. So beyond that, I'm not going to talk to you. But yeah, there's a couple more storms after this one. Another major storm, it looks like, by Sunday and Monday across the eastern half of the United States again. So more thunderstorms, probably severe, and more snow coming. So let's take a look here. So this is basically what's going on right now. That ongoing thunderstorms with the low pressure up here moving off into southern Canada, and we got some snow up into Canada and back into parts of this area back here. Um, and then we got the storm out west. So we got these two systems going on here. Um, as we go through, so let's go through tonight. So this low pressure will move up into just north of Maine. With most of the snow now will be up into Canada. There'll be a little bit of mixed bag, maybe snow or a wintry mix up into northern Maine for tonight through the rest of the day and tonight. Maybe a little bit of snow on the back edge of this system, um, but just kind of some brief stuff. So, maybe minor accumulations, but the colder air is definitely coming in, and it'll be pretty windy back here, from Michigan, back into Wisconsin, into this part, Missouri tonight. Behind that front, it'll be a little bit windy, so some gusty north winds, and you'll definitely notice the temperature change as that front's moving through. Looks like ongoing thunderstorms tonight from Louisiana up through the Tennessee into Ohio Valley, and it'll probably, be up towards at least Pennsylvania and then up close to the DC area, at least to the overnight and the early morning hours, thunderstorms. This system, just some moisture across this northern Idaho, parts of Montana, and the Pacific Northwest. Nothing too unusual out there. So going through the day on Thursday, so yeah, even especially up against the Appalachians, you'll see some snow on the backside of this, but you might get a few inches up there into parts of the Western Carolinas into West Virginia, even parts of Kentucky there in the near the Appalachians. Sorry about that. But yeah, by tomorrow morning, this is about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning out there, right around that time. So there's going to be some ongoing thunderstorms across the southeast here in Alabama, northwest Florida into Georgia, maybe a little bit into Tennessee, but that'll be winding down through the day tomorrow. We see this low pressure developing up in southern Canada, and that's going to move some rain and snow up into the Dakotas and to parts of Montana as we go into tomorrow. So you can see this is by midday tomorrow. The front is starting to move offshore. So we got some lingering snow back here, even into parts of Virginia. So they might get a little bit of snow on the backside. Shouldn't last too long. They might get a few inches of snow there. But this is by Friday or Thursday evening. I mean, the front's pretty much gone. Maybe some lingering rain, snow out here in the Northeast. You'll see a little back edge of snow too across New York and parts of the Northeast on Thursday as that front passes through and the windy conditions develop. So it looks like by late Thursday afternoon, most of the thunderstorms will be confined to Florida as we get into the late afternoon, evening hours. Then we got this one. This low pressure really deepens or strengthens, and up there in North Dakota. So we're going to have some snow across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin again, same general areas for the most part, and parts of North Dakota. A little bit of rain on the warm side of this. Very windy too. It'll probably be windy across, Minnesota down into Iowa, a little bit into Missouri, maybe Kansas, West Texas, as we get that what we call return southwest flow. It's not picking up moisture down here. You can see the high pressure there in East Texas, so all the air is coming off the desert southwest. So back here it's pretty dry, but it'll definitely warm up and very windy, especially on the backside where you got the cold air wrapping around the backside into the Dakotas, and that'll probably go into Nebraska eventually Thursday night. So this is Thursday night, yeah. So that thing's moving across pretty quick. But Friday morning, yeah, we got a good band of snow. You'll probably get several inches of snow up here across that same general area and even into Michigan, parts of Michigan. Very windy right around that low and even into Illinois back here, like these parts we talked about. And definitely some cold air coming in behind it. So temperatures will drop below normal, at least for the parts of the northern half of the U.S. as we head into Friday. So you can see this system too. We got some snow out in Montana and that. So, and that'll kind of be a sign of things to come with the next system. Yeah, and then so through the day on Friday, the Northeast will get in on the wind and snow. Um, Maybe some rain mixed in. Depends on where it'll be kind of a tricky forecast for what's going to be rain and snow, but it is a quick moving system, so shouldn't get a ton of snow. But yeah, even into Saturday, some lingering snow across the Northeast as that low pressure moves off into, how's that, New Brunswick or up into that part into Canada, and then off the eastern seaboard into the Atlantic Ocean. So here's our next system here developing on Saturday up there in Wyoming, Montana. So that snow kind of started up, I mean, it will, have a little bit with this system, but then it kind of gets going on Friday out here, Montana, northern Idaho, a little bit into Wyoming, and then that extends into from Iowa and parts of the Dakotas on Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, as this low pressure develops, and you kind of see it reorients over the lee side of the Rockies, and that's when we're going to see this plain storm redevelop. It's going to start drawing in Gulf moisture there on Saturday, late Saturday into Sunday. So a nice swath of snow up here from Nebraska, Wyoming, parts of South Dakota, North Dakota. This whole area, they'll probably have some bands of some pretty heavy snow, maybe upwards of a foot or more. We'll have to see how this develops. So some heavy snow on the cold side. Yeah, that may even get into northern Kansas there, close to Missouri on the backside it looks like on Sunday. Very windy too. This is going to be very windy and cold air. So spring is not over, or winter's not over. So spring is teasing us, but then winter still says, hey, we're not over. The groundhog was right. So yeah, maybe into northern Missouri, Kansas City area, may get in on a little bit of snow by Sunday. Definitely the heavier snow though will be farther north, up into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and back up in this area earlier on. This will definitely be this looks like a good setup for severe weather on Sunday across, from Illinois, Indiana, southward through Louisiana, even parts of East Texas. So that looks like that gets going through the day on Sunday. That'll be your next threat of severe weather. And this system is moving pretty quick. It gets really wrapped up. So a nice, strong springtime low pressure storm. Looks like some wraparound snow into Chicago and parts of Indiana, kind of lingering in Iowa and northern Missouri as we go into Sunday night. So this is Monday morning, midday. So some kind of similar to the system that we see today and tomorrow. Some backside snow coming in, button up against the Appalachians back here. And then the thunderstorms will be kind of along the east coast into the southeast as we go into Monday. And then the snows up here, the snow and winds will be up into the northeast, parts of Michigan still. So we'll go through the day. So that's in the afternoon, evening. So it's already moving into New York and parts of the Northeast. That low's already up into southern Canada. And the thunderstorms are going to start moving offshore. We'll have some stuff late in the day on Monday if this timing works out. And they seem to be in pretty good agreement from the other models. Thunderstorms will be across Florida by Monday evening. And then as we go into Monday night, Tuesday, we'll just see some wraparound snow up here in the Northeast, maybe some lake effects developing too by Tuesday morning off the lakes. So this will be a cold air mass from, basically the Dakotas all the way south, into parts of the southeast. And so most of the eastern half of the U.S. will get colder than normal. So winter's not over yet, and that'll be, by March 17th. So that's next week. We're already getting close to mid-March. And then as we get in through the day Tuesday, maybe another little band of snow develops across the northern plains into Iowa. Probably just some light stuff with that, a couple inches of snow. We'll see how the models handle that. Otherwise, this system will kind of just go out to sea, and then some lingering showers and storms across South Florida by next Tuesday. And that's pretty much all I'm going to cover. So, yeah, you got another system across the north here over the weekend, and then this next one, or at least Friday and Saturday, and then we got this other really strong one developing Sunday with a severe weather threat, maybe going into Monday morning. We'll see how the timing is. So, yeah, another threat of severe weather and some snow across the northern part of the country. So, um, appreciate you being here, and hope you have a good day. We may not have a video. I've kind of been off and on these videos. I may not have one tomorrow. I may have one on what is tomorrow? Thursday. Might have one on Friday. I've got a lot going on, so it's going to be hit and miss on videos. I'll try to get one out at least every other day. If you get two, or if you get one every day, then you're lucky. So, Wixman Ray out.